Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sad Edition of the Bell Ringers podcast here at Philly Sports Report. I'm Colin Daly. Sad. That is Ben Goldstein, who's also pretty sad. Ah, I'm at a loss for words.
Lots of sadness. This is
Yeah,
live, by the way.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
A lot of
I got nothing.
sadness.
This is just terrible.
A lot of sadness. Yeah, Phillies season is it's over. They I want to hear something. They finish their final 98 games of the season. They go 50-48. So if you want to see what this team really was, yeah, I mean they did it the same way they always do. They chase, they whiff, they make no adjustments. The bullpen blows up. And they lose the game. I mean, game three was just an utter bad performance across the board, except Aaron Nola. Game four, Ranger Suarez was great, and then after that, it just kind of fell apart. But I mean, that's kind of how this whole series went. You got great starting pitching, and then everyone else, didn't really do much. But that's kind of how the series went, and there's gonna have to be a lot of things done this offseason to get that fixed, and hopefully 2025 is the year.
Yeah, it was a lackluster performance all around, and that just doesn't go for the lineup. I mean, the starting pitching, we saw Aaron Nola and Ranger Suarez were okay, but they weren't at their best in the last two games of that series. I mean, of course, Ranger Suarez on paper wasn't totally terrible, but he needs to go more than four and two-thirds innings, especially with Aaron Nola only going, what, five plus last night?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it was lackluster from the last two starting pitchers all series. The offense underwhelmed. The bullpen was just it was an atrocity. Seriously, that was just terrible. Uh, I, yeah, I'm at a loss for words right now. I didn't foresee this at all. I mean, this team was so much more well-rounded than the 2022 Phillies, the 2023 Phillies. It just felt like they were destined for a type of success that we haven't seen before. I'm shocked. I really am.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of fingers you can point at. I just pulled up a tweet from Joe Giglio I want to start with. Here's Dave Dombrowski's major trades / additions since the end of the 2022 World Series. He gave Trey Turner a 10-year, $300 million contract who did not do anything this postseason, and the two most important games last season did not show up. Traded Matt Vierling, who has been great for Detroit, for Gregory Soto, who's no longer a Philly. Let Zach Eflin walk. Signed Taiwan Walker to a 4-year, $78 million contract. The 2023 deadline acquisitions was Michael Lorenzen, Rodolfo Castro. Lorenzen was great for 2 starts. Of course, at the hitter, and that's about it. He let Rhys Hoskins walk. He signed Whit Merrifield, and his deadline acquisitions this year were Tanner Banks, Carlos Estevez, and Austin Hayes. Estevez is ultimately the face that the Phillies will remember for Francisco Lindor's grand slam in Game 4, and Austin Hayes did not do anything in his tenure as a Philadelphia Philly. So you look at that. I mean, all those guys like Turner, you've gotten almost nothing except you're getting a movie out of him in 9 days. So that's cool. Gregory Soto, nothing. Walker, horrible. Lorenzen, you got a no-hitter. Castro, you did nothing. Whit Merrifield was terrible. Tanner Banks, nothing. Carlos Estevez, you got a cool anime celebration. And Austin Hayes, nothing. You've gotten nothing out of
You
these
forgot
acquisitions.
somebody. Seth Johnson's one atrocious inning of work.
There you go. I apologize. We missed that, John. This is what you're getting from Dave Dombrowski after the World Series loss. Like literally nothing. Is Dave Dombrowski on the hot seat?
Let's talk about the hot seat because I think there's a lot that are warm right now. Um, I don't know if he's on the hot seat. So Let me ask you this question. Do you think a non-player needs to be fired?
Yes.
Whether that's a coach, a
Yes.
manager, a member of the front office, okay.
Yes.
Do you think that individual should be Kevin Long?
That's the first name I'm thinking of as the coach. Like this offense had made zero adjustments in the 2022 World Series after Game 3, in the 2023 National League Championship Series, in the 2024 National League Division Series. It's the exact road the 09, 10, and 11 Phillies went on. And look what happened in 12 on. You better hope that doesn't happen again. But
Well, that
Kevin
means you need to
Long,
win a
I mean,
World
a lot
Series
of it's
first, right?
a lot with the younger guys too with Kevin Long, because that's kind of who he's for. Like the veteran guys, they're veterans, they're gonna figure it out. But the younger guys, like Marsh was bad. Bryson Stott had a bad year. Um, Alec Boehm is a baby. I want to go deep into Alec Boehm with you in a little bit. But I
Pause.
mean, like the younger guys, he was unable to do anything with them over the past 2 seasons. Like Kevin Long has been nothing. So why have him around if he's not going to do anything? You know what I'm saying?
So I have a couple thoughts on that, and this is going to segue into our conversation about Crybaby Alec Boehm. Um, I don't understand per se what firing Kevin Long does right now, right? So here's some things we know. Kevin Long is, I would say, objectively one of the better hitting coaches in the league. The players really like working for him. I mean, he's here because he got a good word in from Turner, from Harper, um, guys who played for him in Washington D.C. And it like what kind of motivation does that instill in the players, right? So let's say that Kevin Long gets fired, right? Players aren't going to be happy about it, and they're going to bring in a guy who they probably are not going to like as much, at least off the bat, right? So they're not going to want to work for him like they might want to work for Kevin Long, but it's also not changing the perspective of the player. So now let's just contrast this. Let's say we keep Kevin Long around, which, and at the end of the day, I don't think the hitting coach makes that much of an impact. He can't go out there and hit for the players. So they can fire Kevin Long or they can't. I don't really care. But let's say they trade someone like Alec Boehm. Alec Boehm has hit 216 in his career in the postseason. That sends the message to the other 8 guys that if you don't perform when they need you to, you don't have a spot on the team. But firing Kevin Long doesn't do that.
Well, I don't think that's what they're trying to do with Kevin Long. I just think they're getting rid of Kevin Long because he doesn't do his job. And you mentioned that it would take the players off. At this point, it doesn't matter what the players want. It matters what's best for the organization and what's best for winning the World Series.
Well, I
This
want the
next
players
year,
to work, right?
this is the final year that Kyle Schwarber's on his contract. The last year you're going to have JT Realmuto really like at his almost best, where he didn't get a single base hit this series
Yeah.
against the
Oh,
Mets.
oh, oh.
You're getting now. Bryce Harper and Trey Turner are going into their mid-30s. These guys are getting older. This 2025 season, the window is officially beginning to shut on this core of the Philadelphia Phillies. And it is shutting pretty fast. Like, I think this 2025 season is the last year where you can say we can still do this. I know you have Angie Painter. I know you have Aiden Miller. But you have Bryce Harper for what, 6, 7 more years on a $330 million contract. You have Trey Turner, who's going into his third year of a 10-year, $300 million contract. You have 1 year of Schwarber. You have 2 years of Nick Castellanos. Who knows what parts of the quote daycare, who are now pushing 30, are left. How much you're gonna have left of that? Like it's no longer who cares about the vibes, who cares about the team chemistry. Obviously, that's important, but it's about winning baseball games and winning in the postseason, which is something they have not. That they have had postseason success, but ultimate postseason success is having a parade on Broad Street in late October, early November, and this core has been unable to do that so far. Oh, they won a National League East. Woo! They won a National League pennant. Woo! The ultimate goal is not yet done. John Middleton wanted his effing trophy back. He's not getting it yet. And
Nor
that's
was he
not his
frankly
fault.
close.
It's not his fault. It's the players on the field who are unable to get it done. It's the manager whose leash is too long on some of these players and is unable to get his guys ready to go. It's on the coaching staff who does not have their guys prepared. It's on the guys in the dugout, and it's on everybody. Rob Thompson played a role. It wasn't a big role, but he was a big reason they lost game 4. The lineup was terrible from top to bottom. The bullpen was god awful. The only thing I'm not putting this on is the starting pitching, who was phenomenal and may gain an Andrew Painter next season.
Okay, so let's go back to what you were talking about earlier. It's on the people in the dugout. What would Kevin like? What can a different hitting coach do differently?
You can change the approach. Kevin Long did nothing to change and help these guys with their chasing.
Okay, well, you can't help them with their chasing.
You
I mean,
can
that's
you
not
can
like
work on it. You can watch film. You can study the pitchers that you're facing, which is what the Mets did, and got something on Jeff Hoffman,
but
got something on Carlos Estevez, got something on Matt Strom, and were able to hit them very well.
do
The
we know
Phillies,
that they weren't doing that? Or maybe that like how do we know they just were bad? Because like okay, so
well, they
here's my
were
thing.
they were definitely not as sharp as they were, but it's not just all of a sudden where these guys who have been so great all season, everyone just blows up at once, and the Mets are just killing them.
They
Like that
haven't been
doesn't just
great all
happen.
season. Did they not just recently lose 3 out of 4 games to the Mets? So like
The Mets
I
had
don't think
because I think the Mets have had something on these guys. The Phillies were unable to pick up anything, any study. They tried with Sean Manaea. They had the pitching machine all the way to the left. What a magical idea. They got 5 hits. Like, whatever they're trying to do
okay,
offensively doesn't work.
so you're Kevin Long or the Phillies hitting coach, I don't really care who it is. What do you do differently then?
You try and pick something like I don't know. The hitting coach doesn't do anything, but Kevin
Then why
Long,
are you firing him?
because you need a new voice. You need something different.
All right, fine. So let's
Kevin
go to
Long,
this
Kevin
now.
Long isn't the voice that you need.
Then he doesn't need to get fired. He's not the voice.
I just think you need a different voice. He's not the voice that's helping. You need a voice in that locker room or that clubhouse as the hitting coach who is going to help develop younger guys. He has not developed Bryson Stott. He has not developed Brandon Marsh. And Alec Boehm, Alec Boehm's just a loser. Like, that's where I'm at with him. But he has not developed Marsh. Marsh as a hitter has gotten worse, except in April where he was really good. Who cares? Bryson Stott has digressed. Like, he's not helping these guys that a hitting coach is supposed to help progress. So as
Yeah,
much as much as he may, as much as Juan Soto may love him and the Phillies may keep him around because they want a shot at Juan Soto, they're not going to get Juan Soto. He's not leaving the Yankees. And if he does leave the Yankees, he's going to the Mets. So
all right. So we're gonna stay on the subject, but with a caveat. You're now Dave Dombrowski. You get to make one major personnel move this offseason, but it's a multiple. Okay, you can make multiple, but you have to choose to keep Alec Boehm or Kevin Long. Which one are you choosing?
it's like two different things. It's a coach and a player.
Doesn't
Like,
matter.
if you really want to send a message, you're trading Alec Boehm. But is Aiden Miller ready? Because what third baseman are you going to get?
Alec Boehm needs to go. You need to send. You're talking about voices, right? You're talking about sending messages. The message that we need to send is that if you don't do your job in the postseason, you don't have a spot on this team. And not only that, Alec Boehm's value is the highest it will ever be. He's never starting as the third baseman for the National League All Star team the rest of his career. Mark my words. And you know what? If he does, I don't know. I'll go to the game. Why not? That's more of a war for myself.
2026, Rome comes back and he's like the best player in the league.
That won't happen because he's not. His trade value is high right now, and like someone, you're right. Someone needs to be held accountable, but it's the people who actually go to the plate and hit the ball. We know that they can do it. They have been coached to do it. Why? Because we saw them do it for a majority of the regular season, and ultimately, we're talking about the chase, talking about the lack of hard contact, where they're the ones who swing the bats. They're the ones who swing at the sliders that are 2 feet off of the plate in the other batter's box. So I think that if you need to send a message, that every guy in that clubhouse needs to know that if you do not produce in the postseason, you don't have a spot on the team.
Also, my other thing with Alec Bohm, he is 28 years old and he was crying in the dugout in game 3. He was crying. I know you all saw that he was crying in the dugout.
I think people forget he's 28 years old.
That is too old to be throwing hissy fits and temper tantrums in the major leagues. This
Yeah,
is
by like a
something
decade.
6-year-olds do. He's 28. He's 22 years older than 6-year-olds. And he's throwing hissy fits. Like, he made 2 really dumb, bad plays at third today. Really bad. He made that one, I think the worst one. The first one where he looked at home and then looked at second and then bobbled in his hand and got no out. The worst one, which I used to do when I played third base back in like Little League when I was 7. Soft, weak grounder to third. Runners on first and second. 2 outs. He is jogging to the ball. He is not hustling, getting down the line, scooping it, and throwing. That ball could have been barehanded. Getting it and throwing it. What is Mike Schmidt thinking, who did that every play in April? He's picking it up. He's looking, oh, well, what do I see here? Everybody's safe. I have no play. Because he's lollygagging to the ball. He's not hustling to the ball, scooping it up and throwing it. He gets no out there. And Ranger Suarez had to bail. Ranger Suarez, who was awesome, had to bail him out again.
Yeah.
They have a major Bohm. You can't teach heart, and I saw very little heart from Alec Bohm in this series. Last season in the postseason, he is disappointed every year in the postseason. I have had enough with Alec Bohm. I don't know if Aiden Miller is ready, but
Put Sosa in there.
I don't
At
think.
least until Miller's ready. He'll be ready
But
by the middle of next season.
I mean, if
He's
you are,
going to have to
if the
be.
Phillies are gonna start the season with Andrew Painter, you gotta also start the season with Aiden Miller.
Well, I don't know about that, but could. I mean, it's all going to depend on spring training, and they should get. And they could trade for a third baseman.
Who are they gonna trade for?
I don't
I
know. I
I
mean,
am hearing your St. Louis Cardinals are rebuilding. Could they trade Bohm to the Cardinals for Nolan Arenado?
that would actually that would be interesting.
It's a possibility.
My other
They're
take
not.
on
I mean, the Cardinals came out today. They're not resigning Goldschmidt. And they're getting rid of Sonny Gray. So I mean that
yeah,
opens the
no,
door for
they're
Nolan
dumping
Arenado.
Haas. I mean,
Or
the
how was
Cardinals are
Arenado
god
even
awful.
was Arenado like?
He was not good last year. His value is low
Okay.
right now, so it's a good time to get him. And I mean, you can say all you want. I believe Nolan Arenado is Nolan Arenado. He'll have a good year next year. I mean, he's not very old. Let me see. I mean, he's up there, but he's not like he shouldn't be declining. He's 33. He'll have a good year next year. Um, Actually, there was recently an article published about him. Cardinals beat writer for MLB Network about him and what he's going to do to get back to his. I think they said his slugging ways or something else. I don't. Something that seemed a little not like something you can predict, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he hit 272 with a 719 OPS. So it wasn't his usual season by any means. Um, he didn't. His slugging wasn't. I mean, 16 home runs. Um, That's actually that's a good fit for the Phillies. It really is. So I have a question for you.
All right, and then I want
Um,
to look at some of these offensive stats and pitching
okay,
stats
yep.
from this
So
series and this game.
you my other take on Alec Boehm, and this goes back to what you were saying on him being 28 years old and throwing temper tantrums. Eventually, the Phillies are going to need someone who can step up and lead, who's a successful player and has been in the organization for a long time. Kyle Schwarber's contract's expiring. They have Bryce Hart, but the guys have said that he's not like the one to speak up in the clubhouse. They said this
Yeah,
Schwarber.
he's a lead by example guy, but he
Right.
didn't do
And
much this
then
years anyway to lead by example. So
I think Castellanos is the guy that people look up to. Um,
his
more
contract's
as like
expiring.
a weird, he's like, I feel like he's the cool uncle.
Who?
That people look up to, Castellanos, or like the weird cool uncle. I don't know.
He's very
Um,
philosophical. That guy.
yeah, that's why he's the weird cool uncle.
Would
He
you
reads the newspaper
explore?
and sips
Would you
coffee.
explore Castellanos this offseason?
Maybe.
Like
But here's
I'm.
what
This
I'm
is. I have two guys that are definitely on the table: Alec Bowman, Brandon Marsh. The roommates, kind of you can package
they can
them,
go together, yeah.
but
They can share a U-Haul, save money.
like I have seen nothing from them in these past 3 postseasons. Like
So,
I am now basing these guys on postseason success because that's what the Phillies need. They need guys that are going to get the job done
yeah.
in October. If their goal is to win the World Series, but they're 6 through 9, their 5 through 9 guys aren't going to do anything. Like you're not going to win You're not going to win in the
Yeah, I
postseason
mean,
when your 5 through 9 guys got one hit this series and it ended up being an out.
going into yesterday, it was like, what, 1 for 31 for
It was
6,
one
7,
for
and 8 in the
it
lineup?
was it was JT, Bohm, Austin Hayes, and Marsh going into today's game were 1 for 31.
Yeah, 1
1
for
for
31.
32.
Yeah.
Going into
We
this
both
and
retweeted
going
it
into the
yesterday.
game tonight, and I don't believe they did. I don't think any of them got a hit anyway. So 1 for 40, whatever.
It's terrible. And my thing with Bohm is he's not going to be that leader, right? When Castellanos is gone, when Schwarber's gone, he's not going to step up to that role because he can't. He doesn't act in like he doesn't have those qualities. Like, I don't know what they're keeping him around for. He's not going to fulfill the role leadership wise of the guys that are leaving in the next year, 2 years, like Castellanos. And I mean, his offense isn't anything that's been overwhelming over the last 3 months. His defense is well below average, I would say.
Yeah, he is statistically like the worst defending right fielder in the league. So I mean,
Third baseman, but yeah.
or third baseman, yeah.
Um, I think he's got to go. He has to. He's number one for me.
Oh yeah. We'll see. I don't really see them doing it, but I mean, I don't know.
Really?
I don't see the Phillies doing it, but I'm not against it.
I do think. I mean, if I had to make a prediction, I think the first thing they do is fire Kevin Long. And I don't like that. I mean, I don't. Again, I don't really care. I don't think the hitting coach means that much, but I think that's just the easy way out for them.
It's a good what's
Scapegoat.
the word?
Scapegoat.
Scapegoat, yeah.
Yep. All right.
All
Give me your
right.
stats. Oh, by
All
the way,
right.
I want to put this on.
So
This
let's
is. Hold on. Hold on.
see
Hold on. Hold on. Time out.
here.
This is my
Please take that off. Please take
Orange
that off.
October. You like it? No, not good. I got kicked off the screen.
If Colin's gonna wear Mets stuff, he's not going to be on the screen. When he takes it off, I will put him back on. I'm gonna mute him
When
too.
you're finished talking,
I just muted him too. Now he can't even talk. This is what Colin gets.
one click.
Um. So, all right. He took it off. We can bring it back on now. Don't
I
never do
never.
that
You know,
again.
well,
I
you know
didn't have
how.
him met yet.
I don't know. Oh, I do know. I wanted an arcade.
Why would you take that home?
There were no
Anyway,
other good prizes. Oh, this reminds me of though. It's like how the like McCarthy and Crook they have their cough buttons. The hat's my cough button. When I want to be off the broadcast, I just pop the Mets hat on and Ben kicks me off. It's perfect. That is just
rookie, I
cross
didn't.
on.
I almost just kicked you from the stream yard. All right. So the chase percentage was around 30% this series. It was hovering around that number. Let's see here. So the Phillies were 4 for 31 Wednesday night and 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, leaving 9 runners on base. In the series, they hit 186. They were outscored 17-5 in the 3 losses. They scored 1 run through 9 innings in Game 4, 0 runs through 7 innings in Game 3, 0 runs through 5 innings in Game 2, and 1 run through 8 innings in Game 1. That, Colin, is pretty despicable. And that's top through bottom.
Yeah, it is. One good. Some of them slipped out of my mouth that shouldn't have. I'm glad it stayed inside. Um, yeah, it was a. I no, the word I used earlier was perfect. It was lackluster. And I'll tell you, you can tell me that I'm wrong. I don't really care. There were too many guys who seemed like they didn't want to be there, and I am the number one proponent of keeping calm and having the mindset that getting worked up over a bad inning or a bad game is not the route you want to go. But I felt like the series got to the point where someone needed to light a fire, and there wasn't even a spark.
Well, you got a little bit of fire off Harper's bat in Game 2, led them to their only win this postseason. And now you're left with darkness and emptiness again.
3 times.
Bullpen suffered 16 earned runs in 13.2 innings, featuring a 12.34 ERA.
That's 12.
12.34.
That's the reason they lost, right? And now it's not. It's the
No, it's not.
offense, but
So I want to go back to the offense. A big thing with this series is the Mets starting pitching. All of them are good. Every single one of them. They've all came together. There are a bunch of guys this season, and they've come together recently and been phenomenal. Their bullpen, the Mets bullpen is not good. Outside of Evan
no.
Diaz, it is not good. A big thing with this Phillies team was to get the starter out of the game quick and early. But the Phillies at bats all series were quick. And the starting pitches were through very limited pitches, and it was ugly. It was flat out ugly. These at bats were disgraceful. I think I could have gone up there, major league game, and had a more competitive at bat than 9 out of 9 guys in the lineup. A lot
Probably.
of the pitchers, a lot of the things, just keep the bat on the shoulder.
I said it in the pregame show for Game 1, Ben. I was live with the man Sam Hine. The key to the game for the Phillies is be patient with Senga. Gotta get him out of there. And you know what they did? They were impatient for 4 games. 4 games straight. Starting pitchers dominated it. I mean, they have good starting pitching. I'm not going to deny that. But Senga can't control his fastball. Quintana misses with the breaking stuff more than he should. You're right. Bat on the shoulder was the way to go. It really was.
Yeah, and especially against Edwin Diaz in that last inning. He wasn't throwing strikes at all. And they got a little jumpy on him. But
And they proved they could hit the bullpen too.
yeah.
All they had to do was get the starter out of there. But they
They
let him go
weren't able to do that.
8 innings. And then if Senga threw tomorrow, he would have gone 8. Nah, 6 in like 70 pitches. And they would have pulled him because he's crippled.
Yeah, it's these guys, everyone wants to be the hero in this lineup. Everyone wants to be the hero, the guy that's remembered, the guy that has the moment and hits the bomb. They don't play Their incapability to play small ball
It's
killed
not
them this
cohesive
series.
baseball either. It's not a cohesive team right now.
The Phillies have now lost 3 straight elimination games and 5 of their last 6 playoff games. They have scored 2 or fewer runs in 5 of their last 6 playoff games, with 4 of them at Citizens Bank Park. This dates back to Game 6 of the 2023 National League Championship Series. Darkness
Yeah.
again. From red to dead October.
You're putting all the depressing lines in there. Well, Ben, I hate to cut this short, but I do think that it's time to wrap up this depressing podcast because I still have homework to do. But hold on, before that, hold on. Someone needs a shout out. Who's that? They're down here. Wait, nope. Wait.
God, I
I
need a
was very
shout out for watching 162
right.
plus
162.
4,
That garbage for this.
162 plus 4, 160. I don't know, 166 games this season.
Yeah, 162 for 4 underwhelming performances for 4 games of a 12.32
Hey,
bullpen
they won
ERA.
a National League East. There's something to hang your hat on. They completed 2, and they got a bye. They completed 2 of their goals this season.
Yeah, I don't really care. That's wonderful. I'm glad they have a nice little pennant to hang, but they
Yeah,
didn't
this
get any
team.
further than they did when they won
Hey,
the wild
this
card.
was
So
the most resilient team Rob Thompson has ever been around. Nick Castellanos, as a group, this is the closest to death we're ever going to get. So in a way, we should feel the most alive. And I'll tell you right now,
I
they in
feel as dead
fact
as a
were not
doornail.
alive.
Yeah, I'm not alive.
All right, SeatGeek
Nah,
sponsoring this episode. Thank you to them.
love them.
The link is in the description, or
Don't get Phillies
either
tickets.
way.
Don't buy anything.
Well, the Flyers and Sixers are right on the corner. The
Don't buy
Eagles
them
are
either.
doing things, and there's still concerts and stuff you can go to. So,
Are you a Travis Scott fan with the Fiend? Fiend. Everyone loves that in my school.
Fiend's the worst song ever.
Really?
I
I
hate
don't
that.
mind it. So there's this girl in my calc class who writes Fiend on the whiteboard every day. Um, and the girl who sits across from me sings Fiend all the time. Yeah, the girl who sits like diagonal from me, she sits there, she's really annoying. She goes, during the lessons, by the way, like notes, meow, 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 meow.
Oh
I can't
god.
stand it. It drives me crazy. I can't pay attention.
So your
Um,
entire calc class is just brain rot.
oh, it's terrible. It really is. My table's just chaotic people. It's a
Well, have
weird
fun
thing.
with that tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you a Sabrina Carpenter fan then? Maybe you weren't at the concert last night for
I think
what's
I know one Sabrina
please,
Carpenter. That's the
please,
only Sabrina
please.
Carpenter song. I saw she was wearing Philly stuff. I was like, all right, maybe Sabrina Carpenter will bring.
Yeah.
No, she did not. She
No.
did not.
Well, no, what's the espresso? I don't know how that, it's like, no, I don't know. She's got another one that's popular though with the espresso.
All right.
I did get made fun of in school the other day because I called it the espresso. I didn't know any better. It's just espresso. Because
Well,
it's like the dad who says, I'm going to post it on the Facebook. It's just
Colin's gonna
Facebook.
try and survive tomorrow in his calc class.
I don't know about that.
Thank you to all for this season, listening and watching the
Yeah.
pods. We will be around in the postseason. Maybe whenever exit interviews are, we'll talk about them. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring another great season. Season number 3 of the Bell Ringers podcast. We'll be back for season number 4 very soon. Thank you, everybody.
This my fifth year covering for PSR? I think it was.
21,
2020.
2,
Oh,
3,
no.
4, 4. You're going on 5.
Wow. That's terrifying. It's exciting, though. I
What an
mean,
exciting time.
you know what's bad, though? At the rate we're going, we're not even going to be having a podcast next year. Because, right, does it get lower than, I guess, wild card, right? Well, yeah, we wouldn't be
Yeah,
having a
so I mean in
podcast right now.
'09 it was World Series, 10 it was CS, and then it was DS and 11. Now we're going World Series loss, CS lost, DS. I guess they can lose the wild card next year. So 25 they'll lose the wild card, and then
They may as well
26.
hit the four seam, right?
2026 they'll go 500, and then the rebuild begins again. It's a cycle.
And on that note, And on
Thank you,
that
everybody.
note,
Thank you, SeatGeek. We'll see you around. Follow us.
go
Thank you.
Phil. No, don't go Phils. Go
Oh,
not Mets.
go everyone. Go everyone but Mets. Go baseball.